Bad metrics can quietly create a culture of fear in software development teams. When metrics are poorly chosen, misunderstood, or misused, they stop being tools for learning and start feeling like weapons. Instead of helping teams improve, they make people anxious about being judged, blamed, or punished. Over time, this fear changes how people behave, often in ways that hurt both the team and the product. One common problem is when metrics are used to evaluate individuals instead of the system. For example, tracking lines of code written or number of tickets closed per developer sends the message that more is always better. Developers then fear looking unproductive, even if the real work requires thinking, refactoring, or collaboration. This fear pushes people to optimize for appearances rather than real value. Bad metrics also create fear when they are tied directly to performance reviews, bonuses, or job security. When a single number can impact someone's career, people naturally become defensive. Instead of being honest about problems, delays, or quality issues, teams may hide bad news. Fear replaces transparency, which makes it harder for leaders to see what is actually going wrong. Another way bad metrics drive fear is by ignoring context. A metric like velocity or throughput can fluctuate for many valid reasons, such as technical debt, learning new technology, or supporting other teams. When leaders react to every dip as a failure, teams start fearing normal variation. This creates pressure to explain or justify numbers instead of focusing on improving the work. Fear also grows when metrics are used as strict targets rather than signals. According to Goodhart's law, when a measure becomes a target, it stops being a good measure. Teams may feel forced to hit the number at all costs. This leads to gaming the system, cutting corners, or avoiding difficult but important work, all driven by fear of missing the target. Bad metrics can also discourage experimentation and learning. Software development involves uncertainty, and trying new approaches sometimes leads to short-term drops in performance. If metrics punish failure instead of encouraging learning, teams become afraid to experiment. Over time, innovation slows down because playing it safe feels less risky than trying something better. Fear shows up strongly when metrics focus only on output and ignore quality. If teams are measured mainly on speed or volume, they may rush work to avoid looking slow. Developers then fear being blamed for delays, even when slowing down would improve quality. This often results in more bugs, rework, and long-term pain, which the metrics fail to capture. Another issue is when leadership uses metrics to compare teams against each other. Ranking teams by velocity, defect count, or delivery speed creates competition instead of collaboration. Teams may fear being seen as the worst and start protecting themselves rather than helping others. This damages trust and weakens the overall system. Bad metrics also create fear by oversimplifying complex work. Software development involves creativity, problem-solving, and teamwork, none of which fit neatly into a single number. When people feel their real contributions are invisible, they fear being misunderstood or undervalued. This can lower morale and increase disengagement. Over time, fear-driven behavior becomes the norm. People stop raising risks early, stop asking for help, and stop challenging unrealistic expectations. Metrics that were meant to provide insight end up silencing the very conversations they should enable. The organization loses its ability to learn and adapt. In the end, bad metrics don't just measure performance, they shape behavior. When they are used without empathy, context, and systems thinking, they create fear instead of improvement. Healthy teams need metrics that encourage learning and collaboration. Without that, fear takes over, and both people and products suffer.